Hello guys, welcome to the best to-do list application tutorial. In our previous video we did CRUD operations on to-dos. So in this video we're going to do CRUD operations on to-do items. So let's jump into our code. But before that, I would like you to click the like button and also I'd like you to subscribe to the channel if you've not done that already. Thank you. So in our previous video, this is a folder, this is a file we created and did our CRUD operations for the to-dos resource. So now we're going to create another controller for to-dos item. But before that, let's first of all do some changes on our current code base. Let's normally on the to-dos item we have the text and we have the is complete. Well, these two, the text is not allowed. The text is what makes the to-do item what it is, so it's not supposed to be null. So the user should not create a to-do item with the text of null. And also, it's complete is a boolean value, so let's default it to false. Good, so we're done with that. Now we need to update our database. Like we need to update this change because we've only done this now. Migrations need to be reflected on the database. To do that, let's create a script in our package.json. We could run it here. We could just run a Sequelize migrate script here, but let's just create a script that we might use it in the future. So let's do migrate. And this is the script. This is going to undo all the migrations, then apply the new migration, like create the new migrations. So if let's say we had only 2 tables in our database and now we've added another 1 table, it's first of all going to delete the other table before creating the new table with all the other tables back. So at this stage we are going to lose every data that is inside our database when we run this script. But for now, let's run the script. And that is it. Next we're going to do is we have some errors here and these are ES-node errors. Let's do away with the errors. To do that, we're going to do import models directly from models, and now we're going to destructure these models. So 1 error is gone, in fact 2 of them are gone. And next is the same thing here, so no more errors. So let's now create the controller. And in this, import our models first. Good, so let's create our object. And export it. Now let's create our first action. And in it, let's also get the data from the request body. So let's now create the item. Now we've created the item. Good. Let's return our response. Because this is an async await, method, let's wrap it in the try and catch block. Good. So this is okay for now. Let's now go and let's create the get methods first before we can add the endpoint. So we've done that. Let's now do the fetching. To fetch, let's first of all, we need the to-do ID, because we want to fetch all the to-do items in a particular to-do. So we need the to-do ID. So I think we should get the to-do ID from the request parameters. Now let's do the creating, the fetching. I'm going to call it items. Dot find all, where to do ID is the one provided in a request param, and also I need you to include its associated, all the associated to-dos. So what I'm doing here is I have fetched all the to-do items where we have to-do ID of this, and I'm including their associated, each of the to-do items associated to do. So every to-do item is associated to a particular to-do. So each to-do item has its associated to-do added to it. So let's return a response. So this is good. Let's create a method to fetch a single to-do item. So it is going to be fetch one, and we don't need the to-do ID anymore here. So I'm just fetching one by ID and including. So I'll say where, let me get that, to do item ID params. So I've included that I've fetched. Now here I'm fetching a particular to do, and I'm also including its associated to do. I'm fetching a particular to do item, and I'm also including its associated to do. Now we've returned here. Good. Let's now create the endpoint in our routes. We'll have app that post for creating our to-do items. So let's do for getting all. So we are fetching all the to-do items in a particular to-do. Let's do the same. So this is it. Here we are creating a to-do, and here we are fetching all the to-dos in a particular to-do ID. While here we are fetching one to-do by its ID. So we don't need the to-do ID here. We are fetching one to-do item by its ID. So we don't need the to-do ID. So we're going to pass the to-do item ID as parameter. Good. Let's create endpoints again for update. Call it put. I'm going to call that method update. and the delete. So we are deleting a particular to do. Good. Let's now create the methods. Try catch, and to update a to do, we need to first of all check to make sure that the to do exists, the to do item exists. So let's fetch that to do first. Let's fetch the to do item first. Where now we fetch that. We fetch that particular to do. So let's now check if it doesn't exist, if it is null, if item is null, return a response. Let's see, does not exist. Good. So if it is not null, then just do item to do item that update. So we're going to update the text. This time we're going to update the is complete field too, and so we're updating the text, the is complete, where the ID is the one provided in params. So this is all. Let's now return it. We have to do const updated item. So this too, we need to add a few more. We have to return L, returning true, and plain true. So we return the updated item. Now let's first of all allow it like that. But this is going to return an array, and an array of 2 values, and the second one is the updated to do item. So let's now do the delete part. So the first thing, let's do the same check in here. So we're checking if this particular to do item exists. If it doesn't exist, return an error. But if it exists, we do item await item dot destroy, and just return a response status 200 empty object. So this is good, we were able to do it. Let's now run our server. Let's go and test it. First we need to sign up a user. So we've signed up, and now we're logged in on this tab. Let's create to-do items. Let's first of all create to-dos. Cook. Funny, right? No, cook. Let me not use cook. I don't know how to cook. What else can I do? Go to the mall. And what else? Let me see. Okay, just the title. Now let's create our to-dos. A to-do. So we're able to create our to-do. Let's create another one again. Good, we've created that to-do as well. Now let's create to-do items. Let's create our to-do item. We have to-do. Next, let's pass in the to-do ID. The first to-do. Now let's create that. Good, we're able to create our first to-do, and you see that this complete is false now. Now let's update. Let's fetch this particular to-do item. Good, when I fetch, you notice the associated to-do is being included, which is the first to-do of go to the mall. Now let's fetch all. It's going to return an array. We're going to let's fetch all to-dos in a particular to-do item. So it returns an array of to-do items. Good. Now we're going to update a particular to-do item. So we need to let's update the first to-do item. And the first to-do item, let's change this complete to false. Good. There's one thing I also have to consider in the update method here, because what if a user supplies the for the case where a user doesn't supply a particular field, like value for a particular field. Let's say he supplies it's complete but didn't supply text, so we have to handle that too. If he didn't supply text, then the text field will be null, so we have to take in case he didn't provide the text, then I will get a text from the item that was found. Text of that. For the case of his complete, if he doesn't update it, then it remains false, so we don't need to do the same for its complete. So to update, let's go to output, and we're going to update is complete to 2. Why am I seeing this false? Let's have a look. So I'm updating this and it's complete. Right. So it returns an array, but this is not what I expect to see. Let's continue that. So we have 12 here. Let's look at what we have. Oh, it's completed. Sorry for that mistake. Oh, we didn't provide the value here. So good, it works now. It works now. We're able to update. Now let's do a delete operation on it. Let's delete a particular to-do item. But before that, let's make sure it returns only the update method returns only the object, and that is going to be index 1. So now let's do it once again. Now it returns the object alone. Now let's perform the delete operation. We're going to delete this. Now we can't fetch it anymore. Let's try to fetch it empty. So let's get to do's. No to do item for that particular to do. So the methods work. So everything is good now. So let's call it the end. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, really thank you for that. And if not subscribed, please kindly do so and hit the like button too.